I want to talk about this word they call freedom. A lot of you are enslaved. A 400-year tribulation. You're enslaved because of society. And society has taught you that slavery was not freedom. In fact, it's not true. When you were a slave, you were free. You just didn't know it. Our ancestors, they didn't know they were free the entire time that they were in captivity. But we are no longer in captivity, only in captivity of our minds, not of our freedom. If your ancestors really knew that they were free, you would not be paying for karmic debt. Our karmic debt is because our ancestors never got it. They never figured it out. They felt because they were enslaved that they were enslaved because this is what the masses wanted them to believe, that they were enslaved. But a part about being free, they didn't understand. It's not freedom as in being free from your oppressor or your slave master or anything of that nature. Your freedom is your sanity. Your freedom is your way of being, your way of living. Your freedom is your way of faith, having faith. And I don't think I can try to make this sound very easy on how to be free, how to be, because it's your burdens. Your burdens are like cancer. Eats at you slowly. It's like a cancerous cell. This is what the United States is. The United States is a cancer. It is a cancerous cell. And not just United States, all over the world, every country is like a cancer eating at you. Because why? Because you worry about all kinds of things. This is how a lot of people wind up sick, dying, because of worries, because they can't let that burden down, they can't free themselves. The freedom has nothing to do with an oppressor. Freedom has to do with you, your mind, and your heart. People believed back then when they were enslaved that they were not free. They were free. They just didn't know it. They just couldn't see it because they were told what to think and what to do and what to read and what not to read and what not to practice. Ancestral culture practice, because they were enslaved in their mind, and in their heart they were enslaved. But just imagine if your ancestors were not. Just imagine if your ancestors back then, even though they were enslaved, they were free. You would not be paying a karmic debt. You would not be paying for your ancestors' karmic debt. You wouldn't. And slavery ran through every generation, every generation. And I can tell you that because this is why they have traffickers. The only difference between a boat and a car is the age, is the times. At those times, they were human trafficking. They had boats. Now they have cars, they have planes, they have trains. But even then, they had trains back then, but mostly coming from Africa and all these other places over in Europe and in Asia. Yeah, they used boats, but they were nothing but what do you call them? They were nothing but a handler. But I'm trying to give you something to think about. And I'm doing this video for one particular person because this person is enslaved in their mind and they're lost. They don't know how to rationalize the things that are going on around them when all they have to do is just drop their burdens. Just leave it to the Holy Spirit. Because you're the one that's causing the cancer. You're the one that's causing the sickness. You're the one that's seeing those doctors, those quacks, when there's really nothing wrong with you. The only problem you have is letting go. The only problem you have is letting go of control. But back to those that believe in their minds and heart that they're still enslaved. You're only enslaved because you want to be enslaved. You're only enslaved because you choose not to let go. You choose to try to control what you cannot control. This is why you're enslaved, because you don't know how to let your burdens down. You don't know how to put down your burdens. When you start thinking about your burdens being cancer, a cancerous cell, then you'll see what it means to be free. You will drop that cancer. Because it's nothing like being free when you drop your burdens. When you just let it all go. And I know I can talk till I turn blue in the face, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to listen to what I'm saying. We're calling on the Holy Spirit. And I didn't mention the other person's name. I said call on the Holy Spirit. The creator of all things. And let it go. Let it live. Because it's you that's killing you. It's your burdens that you let take over and put you in sickness. If you can't pay your rent, it's okay. I'm not saying not paying where you live, you should not do. You should take care of your responsibilities, but if you don't have it, you don't have it. Can't pay your credit card, can't pay your car, can't pay your phone. You don't have it, you don't have it. These are things that are, I gotta say it, irrelevant, but they're part of your problem. Because once you learn to let go, you'll be free. Once you learn to let go, you'll be free. At this point, you have no more worries. At this point, you don't worry about anything or anyone. You have children, yeah, you'll worry about them, but for the most part, your burdens. I talk to my friend all the time about being so angry, always in other people's business, always in our children's business. But what's the use of you being angry all the time? What's the use of you arguing with everyone? What's the point in it? You're just only creating misery. You're only creating havoc. You're only creating a cancer cell within your body. It's a burden. Why worry about someone else's burden? It's not your burden to mess with. It's not your burden to worry about. You done your job. You took care of your children. So why worry about what they're doing? They have to live their life just like you lived yours when you had them. I don't understand what people. I don't understand people these days. Just be free. Whatever anyone does, let them do it. Just be free. Be free to be yourself. Be free to be you. And show no shame about it. Because if you don't let those burdens go, you'll be following your ancestors' footsteps. And there will be another upcoming child of yours, or grandchild, or great-grandchild, that'll have to pay for your karmic mistakes. Because you can't do the one thing that everybody's supposed to learn how to do, and that's be free. See, the thing is that it speaks about it in the Bible, about the oppressor giving you over to the slave master, and you wouldn't do what I say, and this and that, and all these things. But basically giving your freedom away to where you have no freedom. But this is the mind trick that they give you. This is the BS that they give you in your mind because you have been in Atlantic slave trade. You have been sold, bought, enslaved. This is all Jedi mind trick crap. And our ancestors fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. Because the one thing they can't take from you is your mind and your spirit and your heart. They can't take that away from you. It's like when you go into a daydream and you're sitting there, you're daydreaming, looking out a window. For that split moment, you're free. So why not carry out through your whole life that way? Why not? This is what I mean by free. Your ancestors didn't get it. My ancestors didn't get it. Those that were enslaved didn't get it. but it's not. This person that said that I'm going to sell you to your slave, I'm going to sell you to your what was it? I don't know it verbatim in the Bible, but basically all the Jews that didn't listen said, I'll sell you. You know, you won't you won't make anything. You won't do anything. You won't have no land. You won't have this. You won't have that. You'll be oppressed. And the very people that you dislike will be your masters. Will be your slave. Will be your master. But this is hogwash, and our ancestors fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. You can be in any situation, oppressed or not, and still be free. This person that wrote this Bible and said these crazy things because enslavement is only in your mind. The part you have to learn how to do is free it. Free your mind and free your heart and free your will to want to be in control when you're not. And this is what people don't get. This is what our ancestors didn't get. The freedom is not exterior. It's interior. It's inside. People are so busy searching on the outside, but not ever searching in the inside, because that's where it starts. This is where the freedom begins. Inside, not outside. People think they go to churches, they do this, they do that, and they search, but don't find anything. The reason why you're not finding anything is because it's in the inside, not the outside. What you're looking for is inside of you, and only you can find it, and only you can free yourself. Enslaved, in bondage, or not in bondage. When you go to sleep and you're in the etheric world, you're free. This is a part of letting your mind go. And sure, you can say, oh, well, you know, life this, life that, you know, life troubles, life, you know, we gotta live, we gotta do this, we gotta do that. Yeah, you do have to do that. But when you don't got it, you don't have it, you don't have it. It's just that simple. If the whole world stopped today and every person stops working for every company, stop working for every business, the world will cease to turn. The world will cease to turn. And guess what happens? You get what you want. And what I'm trying to say is that you can't worry about tomorrow, the next day, the next day after that, the year after that, the month after that. You can't worry about those things. You have to live for that day, that minute, that second. Because we're not promised. So that's why I say life is short. It's too short. So why waste your energy on a cancer cell? Why do it? You're the only one, you're the only person holding yourself in bondage. The only person. No one else. Even back then, like I said, when they were slaves, they were the one holding themselves in bondage. The slaves, physically, they were not held in bondage. Mentally, they were held in bondage. Well, I'll say mentally and physically, they were held in bondage because this is what they were trained for. This is what they were trained. This is how they trained them. You get an animal, you get it as a baby, and you train it. And it's going to do exactly like you train it because you're programming it. And see, these people have been programmed to forget the mind, forget how to think for themselves, forget how to go to that stage of enlightenment, that stage of being in a dream, that stage of being in a, what's the word I want to use? In a daydream. Because when you can take your mind 24/7 to a daydream, or take your mind to the etheric world 24/7, then you're free. You're free. Because this is the one thing they can't take. They can't take this. They can't take this. And they can't take your light. Because why? Because when you're in this meat suit, you're in prison already. You're in prison already within this body. You're in prison. The thing is, and what people don't understand, that if you let go of these things, you become a light body. The body that you're in can become a light body. That still be matter, but it'll be a light body. It'll be your body which is vibrated such a high frequency that the matter, if it'll fragment, the matter will fragment, but it'll still be solid, but it'll be fragment. But it'll be lighter. You take the prison that you're in and change it how you want it to be. You take that mainframe that you call a brain, and you program it how you want it to be programmed. Not let society program you and unplug yourself from the matrix. Get out of the masses. Get out of what these other people are trying to get you to do and say and believe. Because you're not enslaved. You never were enslaved. Your ancestors were never enslaved. Physically, they were enslaved. And in their mind, they were enslaved. But if they had to just let go, they would no longer be enslaved. Because at that point, when you're no longer enslaved, you can manifest whatever you want. This is the Jedi mind trick that all the billionaires are doing. And I'm not saying this because I researched this. I'm saying it because this was being shown to me. I'm going to leave this here. Think about what I said. You can only free yourself because it's your ancestors that you have to do proud. It's your ancestors that you have to free them. By freeing yourself, you'll be freeing them. By getting rid of this cancer of being into control and holding on to burdens. Why hold on to something that you can't even take from this earth? Can't take your bills with you. Can't take your phone with you. Can't take your children with you. You know why? Because you came in this world by yourself. Unless you came here as a twin or tuplet or whatever. Triplets. But even then, you're still going to go out by yourself. Because you're your own individual. So why hold on to cancer? Does you no good but kill you slowly. Or shall I say, killing me softly. When you let your burdens go, everything else goes. Then you can manifest whatever you want. This is my time. And I'm signing out. Till next time. Ancestor of the Carrion race and Lyran race. Lion of Judah. Out.